So I'm working with this woman who's having some issues with retention with her team. Basically, she's hiring people, she's teaching them and telling them what they need to know, and then she's sending them off on jobs. And then as soon as that person has something negative that happens on that job, they just end up cutting and leaving, and she basically just can't keep them. One person, she said, went out on a job and they accidentally broke something, so they just left right then and there and didn't tell her anything. She reached out, they didn't communicate to her, and it's been, months. Another person had to leave work early one day because they had to bring their kid into the ER, and after that one day, she just didn't hear back from them. They didn't show up to work again, they weren't responding to any of her messages or calls or anything like that, so, they just bailed. I asked her about her onboarding process, and she basically described it as, just hire, tell them what they need to know, and then send them on their way. And I think that's really where her biggest mistake is that she's not building any type of rapport or relationship with these people when she adds them onto her team. Yes, people can technically do the job when you just teach them the things that they need to know and point them in a direction, but if you want them to stay, then they need to have a reason to stay, and a paycheck is often not good enough. They need to actually enjoy where they work. They need to like the people they work with. They need to have good relationships that keep them there. If they don't have those good relationships, then what's to stop them from dropping you and joining your competitor? What's to stop them from hopping from company to company to company until they find the one that pays the most? If you're hiring and you're trying to build up your team and you're trying to keep your people, you need to understand that the one thing that's going to separate you from your competitors is that you have the opportunity to actually build a relationship with the people on your team. Your competitors don't know that person. They probably don't ever see that person or meet that person. They probably don't know that this person exists. So that's the advantage that you have. It doesn't have to be something drastic. A simple, let's go out for coffee, let's go grab lunch, let's grab dinner after, a day of work, whatever it might be. Just spend some time with them. Ask them about themselves, tell me about yourself, where you come from, tell me about your family, what are your interests, what are things that are really important to you, what are things you absolutely hate, what's a good story that you have. As long as it's focused around them and they have the opportunity to share insight about themselves, they're going to understand that you actually care about them as a person because you're actually trying to learn about them, even if it's stuff that's not vital to the job. You're still spending your time and energy getting to know them, and that's the start of that relationship that will keep them with your company. So if you're hiring people within the first 48 hours of them being with you, you should be setting up some type of one-on-one connection where you can talk with them about themselves to make them feel like you're investing in them, not just as an employee, but as a person. That will do crazy things to your retention. That'll make people feel like they're cared for. That'll make them want to stay even when they're going through the tough times. Really, an effective team is all about the type of relationships that those team members have. If you're viewing them as, okay, you're employee 823, I don't really need to know you because if you leave, I'll just hire someone else, then they're going to leave. And you're going to hire someone else, and they're going to leave, and you're going to go through that same rotation over and over and over again. If you get to know them as Stacy or as Jacob, what they like, where they come from, what their goals are, that is something that is going to mean a lot to the people on your team. That is something that's going to show that you actually care about them as people, and that's what's going to make them stay. So when you're hiring people, start that relationship building right away.